It is the fourth day of the Intra Africa Trade Fair happening right now in Cairo, Egypt. Our senior business and exchange anchor, Bosan, Omofaye and Okpe are live on the ground bringing us updates.
Well, it's Sunday, November 12th, and we're live in Cairo, Egypt for the Intra Africa Trade Fair in collaboration with the Africa Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank. I am Okpe.
And I am Bosan Omofaye. It's been 4 days since this biennial conference for this year started here in Cairo, Egypt. And it's been a whole lot of coverage that we've been spending days and time and hours putting together.
Absolutely. We have covered a bunch of panel discussions. And we started off with CANEX, which is for the creative arts. And Afreximbank announced a $1 billion fund for the film industry. Bosan, we definitely need that for the African film industry, and I love the whole interaction that has been going on so far with the creative sector.
The single largest deal announced so far over the past 4 days, $1 billion for the creative film making industry in Africa, which of course Africa is making a very big show around the world. But of course there have been other deals signing over the last 4 days. We've seen deals signed for iron ore production in Equatorial Guinea. We've seen the Afreximbank signing deals in the energy sector, as well as for housing projects in Zimbabwe and a few other countries, including the Vista Bank Group. That's about $140 million for credit financing to some of the banks within West Africa footprint where Vista Bank operates. So we've got a whole lot discussing in the energy sector, in the automotive space, as well as manufacturing and commodity.
Yes, absolutely. There is more. There is also a panel discussion going on in the gastronomy sector, that is the cooking sector. We are going to cover that live here in Cairo, Egypt. And we're also very excited because Bosan Omofaye here spoke with the Anambra State Governor, Charles Chukwuma Soludo, and there they announced a $200 million deal. Bosan,
I wish I was the one who signed the deal, but that was the Anambra State Governor, yes. Professor Chukwuma Soludo, about $200 million. He's had a big appetite for up to $500 million, up to $1 billion for the new industrial city that Anambra State wants to build, including manufacturing and others. That's one of the headline events that we've seen here so far. It's been several deals signed with companies within the banking sector, Vista Group. You have the Zimbabwe's building, housing, a mortgage bank, which got about $20 million. We've seen deals signed within the iron ore mining sector. Of course, we've also seen that several-hour session in the automotive sector and why we need to be part of the global automotive industry, with electric vehicles being in play. We talk about manufacturing, as well as the commodity value chain that Africa will need to power with the various natural resources that the continent really has.
Absolutely. Well, more on the creative sector. I did speak with Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, who launched his new book titled Chronicles from the Land of the Happiest People on Earth. There he had a fireside chat. He talked about all of his adventures that he has gone throughout his life. He has been, in the museum, he has done music, he has done a bit of a life and time of Professor Wole Soyinka. It was an amazing fireside chat, very enlightening. I think the most important thing a lot of people took out there was the fact that he is a strong advocate for good language. He also talked about the proliferation of the internet space and how he thinks Nigerians need to be more educated in terms of putting out information out there on the internet. I think his book will be one of the books that I would love to read. Bosan.
I've also taken some time to go to the pavilion and see the various countries making exhibitions: South Africa, Algeria, Morocco. I've had a short run with some of the exhibitors who are looking at special food and agriculture exhibitions across Africa from Algeria. I spoke with 2 individuals on Saturday. Earlier in the week, I also spoke with the group managing director of UBA, which recently signed a deal in Saudi Arabia. They're here to sign another deal like they did in Ghana a few months ago with Afreximbank and Intra Africa Trade Fair. There's a whole exhibitions going on across the various countries that are here from around Africa, including Nigeria. Ogun State is here. Kwara State is also here, making a show of the other products. We just spoke a few minutes ago with the former head of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, Olusegun Awolowo, who's also attending. Is a promoter of trade and trade finance on the African continent. But of course, talking about food and agriculture, OJ, yesterday you grabbed the Zambian Minister for Trade and Industry.
Absolutely. Honorable Chipoka Mulenga. He is the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry. We discussed Zambia's agricultural sector, and Zambia is willing to partner with Nigeria, and we talked about the fact that it is important that we Africans collaborate in order to grow what we eat and eat what we grow. And we talked about the impact of climate change, as well as the impact of the Middle East war, as well as the Ukraine-Russia war on agriculture, especially in Africa. He also talked about the fact that there are about 20 million acres of land that has been cultivated for the country Zambia, and we look forward for something like that to happen in Nigeria as well.
Because remember, after that conversation, you had another conversation with
yes.
Dorothy, who is a director at the Africa Export-Import Bank, and she spoke to you also
Absolutely.
as well about what the Afrexim Bank is doing in terms of intervention for women in agriculture, in farming,
Yes.
and how to do agro-processing.
Absolutely.
Which she says Afrexim Bank is mainstreaming, moving forward beyond just farming, moving further down the value chain, that Africa needs to begin to do beneficiation, putting value on top of its commodities, whether on the ground, and then, of course, above the ground. All of that were part of the conversation. Now, we're looking towards the next 3 days of this conference until Wednesday, when it's going to be the grand plenary for the 2023 edition of the Intra Africa Trade Fair.
Yes.
Tomorrow is going to be the President's Day, Monday.
Absolutely. I was going to throw to you on that because it's supposed to be one of the most important days here in Cairo, Egypt, for the Intra Africa Trade Fair, where all the presidents, the African presidents, are going to be meeting in the main theater hall, discussing all of the investments that needs to take place on the continent of Africa.
The next big announcement is the 2025 Intra Africa Trade Fair. The announcement will be made on Monday. I don't know which country will be hosting that, or do you know?
You will be shocked that I may know. We're not. I don't know, Bosan.
But of course, wherever the next edition of the IETF goes, Arise News Channel will be there. I am Bosan Omofaye in Cairo.
And be sure to stay tuned to Arise News. We'll be bringing you all the coverage live from Cairo. I am Okpe, covering for the Intra Africa Trade Fair in collaboration with Afrexim Bank.
Bye for now, everyone.